All right, back with another episode. Barnes University explaining what he would have done as general manager of the Tennessee Titans in the 2022 NFL Draft. Guys, go check out what I said about the Tennessee Titans picks and what they did. Awesome draft, I think. There's some really good analysis there. It's on this page. You guys can go see in my video section. But for this series, we're going to talk about what I would have done. Every draft I go live right before the Tennessee Titans pick for accountability purposes. Last year did really well. Year before, last decade, I've done really well with this. So without further ado, let's get to it. So with that third selection, going into this draft, Tennessee Titans traded back, really got some value for that, did an awesome job. And I would have taken the best player available at that point. Just thinking into the future a little bit. Also, placing a lot of credence and placing a lot of value on the trenches defensively. And I would have taken defensive tackle / nose tackle Travis Jones out of Connecticut. And a lot of people will be like, oh, we already have Big Jeff. And, you know, they'll name the backups or the players that played nose for us last year. And they'll be like, oh, he did well. He did good enough to play in this, that, and the third. Or he did good enough in his role. We were so-and-so top 5 versus the run. And, you know, that kind of thinking is exactly what I would expect from, you know, someone who wouldn't have the experience of, you know, understanding that every year is a different year. Injuries do happen. And at that point, you know, Travis Jones for me was my, you know, best player available. And he's right after Jordan Davis in terms of nose tackle. So, and for those who really know defense, you know that it starts in the trenches. And you know that having a dominant nose tackle, a lot of people try to say that it was going extinct, just like they try to say that run games were going extinct. But yet we have, you know, right after they tried to kill off the run game, we had another 2,000-yard rusher in Derrick Henry. And, you know, the game of football is physical, and the run game establishes that physicality. So it's never going to go away if you want a physical sport, just like having a nose tackle that can take up space, garner double teams, with also the ability to defeat his opponent 1v1 and make plays in the backfield. It's invaluable. And adding a guy like Travis Jones to pair with Jeffrey Simmons, if you were number 4 versus the run, number 5 versus the run, you will for sure be number 1. And that could be a difference in win share of 2 or 3 wins and definitely allow you to go deeper in the playoffs. So with that logic there, you get the best remaining defensive lineman at one of the most important positions for your defense. You definitely bolster an already good defense. And, you know, at that point, it's Super Bowl time. Now, like I said, this isn't to, you know, obviously doing this, it has a undertone or connotation of comparison, but it's just what I would do. Like I said, in previous videos, for those that don't know of me, I watch the same amount of tape, if not more, than a lot of these area scouts. And I have a great deal of understanding of how the value of the draft works in terms of just true BPA. Like, obviously, the flow state of the draft and tiers can be different. You know, even the best NFL draft analysts got that wrong. Perfect example is Malik Willis going 86 when, you know, the best of the best had him going number 2 or number 20. So you do get that off sometimes. But in terms of Travis Jones, it's a no-brainer in terms of getting the best player available and adding him to your defense. A lot of people will be like, oh, that's overkill or whatever. Well, that to me, that's what wins championships. You know, so Travis Jones, the player, right? Very powerful player, powerful upper body. I think he can play, obviously, traditional defensive tackle in a 4-3 scheme or in a 3-4 scheme. odd front. He can be that nose tackle that's going to garner the attention and allow others to play off of him. And then when you have a guy like that, it just opens up everything else for everybody. And a lot of people just think it's opening up things for people on the defensive line and the linebackers behind him, but it also opens up things for the defensive backs. And the reason being is obviously because of the effect that it has on the quarterback, on the offensive line, and how they play, but also helps how you play coverage, right? If I got a guy that has that type of influence, I can play a little bit more aggressive, on the back end. So he's a game changer. But the biggest thing is that the best players have the simplest profiles: big, strong, athletic, physical, mean, and that's what Travis Jones is. At upper body strength, I think he had the most, either the highest, I think the most bench press at his pro day. He benched 225 the most for his position. And I'll have to double check that and fact check that. But that is just a metric that I obviously took notes on. But I like, if you put on the tape, the guy is destroying people. Put on the tape with the Senior Bowl, he's beating first round pick Cole Strange, who went to the Patriots. He's just pinning him in the backfield, driving him in the backfield, and you get those type of reps and that type of arm usage, hand usage with the NFL coaching, you're going to get you a Pro Bowl defensive tackle. So we're not going to continue this. Obviously trying to describe something that is such a no-brainer, it can get redundant. And that's really what that is with Travis Jones. Phenomenal athlete, phenomenal player. And that's who I would have taken with that third selection. That the Tennessee Titans had in the 2022 draft. More to come. Video 4 coming for who I would have taken in this draft.